you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Living the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Living the Dream podcast. We are going to finish this week strong by covering how to properly fuel our bodies based on what works best for us individually and in order to reach for our health, fitness, and wellness goals and in order to live our dream lives. And all week we've been talking about fascia. It's Fascia Week, how it connects to everything, how it adapts to stress, how it responds to movement, hydration, sleep, and nervous system regulation. But today, we are going to answer a big question that I know a lot of you might be thinking if you've been listening to the past few episodes. Okay, Coach, what do I actually need to eat to support my fascia? Because fascia isn't just something that you stretch. Fascia is a tissue, a living tissue surrounding everything in your body. Think of that spider web analogy that we talked about in previous episodes. And tissue needs raw materials. So today we're breaking down what fascia is made of, what nutrients support fascia, what matters more than supplements, and how to eat in a way that actually helps your connective tissue remodel. So let's start here. Fascia is primarily made of collagen, but collagen does not exist in isolation. Collagen is supported by things like water, minerals, amino acids, which are just proteins that are broken down, amino acids, enzymes, and something that we don't think about very often, but it also is supported by a low inflammation internal environment. So if you're someone that's very inflamed, this is not going to be a great environment to be able to help with your connective tissue remodeling. So collagen is supported by water, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and a low inflammation state, which means that, unfortunately, no single food or supplement can help to quote unquote fix your fascia, because fascia is a system, an entire system. So our first big pillar to helping support our fascia is something that we talk about all the time on this podcast, and that is protein. Yes, protein. Think about it. Collagen is a protein. If you listened last week, you may have learned that collagen is an incomplete protein. It's made up of a few amino acids, but not all of the essential ones, which means that if you're under eating protein overall, your fascia will most likely not remodel optimally, period. Think about one of the biggest issues that I see people that are stretching, they're foam rolling, they're doing their mobility, doing all these things, wanting to fix their issue, but then they're eating like little birds. Your body is going to prioritize survival. So if you have limited protein, where is that limited material going to go? Of course, it's going to go to things like organs to help you stay alive, your brain, your heart, your liver. It's going to go to things like your immune function, helping to create this atmosphere that can help fight off illnesses, bacteria, viruses, but it's definitely not going to go to these big biceps or triceps or pec muscles. It's going to go to your essential muscles. So if your protein is limited, it's going to prioritize all these things: organs, immune function, essential muscle, not connective tissue remodeling. So the baseline rule here is if you care about fascia, you must eat enough protein every single day. And for most active humans, we've kind of given this number before, a good target for your protein is around 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of goal body weight spread across the day. Hopefully front loaded a little bit earlier in your day so it's easier to obtain. Not all at once, like all at dinner. Your body does this thing called muscle protein synthesis. It's a signal that gets sent anytime you eat a bolus of protein that's big enough to be able to send the signal. I like to think about anywhere over 20, 25 grams to 35 grams of protein per per meal or more will help to send this signal. They say that the muscle protein synthesis signal dampens after about 3 hours. So if you're eating all of your protein in one meal at dinner, you're sending that signal once, and then for the rest of the day or the rest of the night and the next day, you're not having that signal being sent. So if your goal is to really help to build muscle or to repair injuries or to just strengthen connective tissue like we're talking about today, spreading it out across the day through the average person, maybe 3 meals. If you're really looking to optimize, maybe 4 or 5 so that you can hit that every 3-hour phase to be able to send that signal enough. But just think, if your goal weight is 100, just to make it easy, and that's really small, but if your goal weight is 100, 70 to 100 grams of protein per day. If your goal weight is 200, then 140 to 200 grams of protein per day. This isn't about bodybuilding. I know a lot of people might be scared of putting on too muscle, which is crazy because, I don't hop in a car and I'm not scared that I'm going to turn into a NASCAR driver. I don't cook one meal and think that I'm going to turn into Gordon Ramsay. It takes years and years and decades of discipline and consistency to even build a tiny bit of muscle. So whatever. But anyway, this isn't about bodybuilding. This is about tissue repair. So think about giving the body the building blocks that it needs to be able to do the job that needs to be done. So first pillar is protein. Yes. Second pillar, moving on, is collagen, which has a few amino acids in it. Collagen has glycine and proline. Collagen supplements, they get a lot of hype, but here's the truth. Collagen can be helpful, but only as a part of a bigger picture. If you want to dive a little bit deeper into collagen, go back to last Fuel Up Friday episode when we talked a lot about it. But collagen is rich in amino acids like glycine, proline, and another one called hydroxyproline. These are very important for connective tissue, but collagen is that incomplete protein, so it should be added to your protein intake, not in replacement of it. So if my goal is 100 grams of protein, if I eat 50 grams of protein of food and then 50 grams of collagen supplement, I am definitely not even close to my goal. It should be added to your protein intake, not replacing it. So think of collagen like this. It's not the house that you're building. It's specialty building material, right? It's great to include things like in your diet, like collagen powder or even better, bone broth, good quality bone broth, or connective tissue rich cuts of meat that actually has connective tissue in it if you can stomach it. But only if your total protein intake is solid at first. Then these other things like the collagen powder, the bone broth, and the connective tissue-rich cuts of meat can really help. So pillar number 2 is collagen, which means that you're getting those amino acids, glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. The third pillar, this one's huge, vitamin C. Vitamin C is required for collagen synthesis, the creation of collagen. Without it, your body literally cannot cross-link these collagen fibers properly. This is not optional. Historically, this is why sailors got scurvy, because of connective tissue that broke down. What does that look like in the modern version, since none of us are sailors sailing across the ocean? Well, most of us aren't. The modern version of this looks like joint pain, poor healing, like you get a cut or a wound and it doesn't heal very fast, stiff tissue, and slow recovery. Vitamin C sources that I love are things with citrus, berries. My personal favorite that I do every day is kiwis. Bell peppers and leafy greens will work here too. This is one reason why I love pairing collagen supplements with vitamin C, either through food or through timing. One more thing that matters here is that timing does really matter. Fascia is most responsive to nutrients around mechanical load. So as you put this collagen supplement or the foods or the citruses or the kiwis into your body starts to break it down into its basic parts. Once that happens, your blood, it's going to go from your bloodstream and it's going to be going to the tissues. But it only really responds best around your mechanical loading sessions. So if I'm going to do a jump rope session to work on my fascia, then taking the collagen supplement and the vitamin C 30 to 60 minutes before I do that is prime time. taking it in the morning and then doing the workout at night is just not going to be as optimal. So timing is going to be important here. Most experts say. I follow this guy named Paul J. Fabritz. His Instagram handle is PGF Performance, and he's been working with professional athletes, mostly basketball players, and he helps people jump higher than they've ever jumped. He helps people work on their joints and making sure that they can handle loads, especially landing from jumping 10 feet in the air. Like, this is really, really high impact stuff. And he swears by this about the timing of his collagen and vitamin C, and then right into a session where he's working on mechanical load of the tendons and ligaments and the fascia. So we talked about how to train your fascia on Tuesday. Whenever you do something that we talked about on Tuesday, that's when you're going to be putting in these collagen supplements and this vitamin C supplements or whole foods, probably better whole foods than supplements almost always, but around this mechanical load session. If I can translate that all and make it a little bit more simple, if you're going to do mobility work, strength training, or long hold training, that's a great time to make sure that protein, collagen, and vitamin C are on board. Not because of magic timing windows, but just because blood flow, cellular signaling, and tissue turnover are already elevated during this moment. You're giving your body building materials when it's actively remodeling. So pillar number three is vitamin C and timing. Let's go to pillar number 4. The fourth pillar, minerals, the unsung heroes, minerals. Fascia relies heavily on minerals like magnesium, zinc, copper, and manganese. These are going to help to support your enzyme function, your tissue repair, your nervous system regulation, and your hydration at a cellular level. So magnesium, zinc, copper, and manganese, they're going to help enzymes, tissue, nervous system, and hydration. So if you sweat a lot, if you sauna a lot, if you train really hard, you're going to be losing minerals. Chronically low mineral intake equals tissue that doesn't recover well. This is where whole foods, electrolytes, mineral-rich water matters a lot. And one little addition here, I've been drinking a lot of reverse osmosis water just because that's where I'm getting my water from, is a place at Jimbo's where they do reverse osmosis water. I didn't realize when I first started getting that, which some of you are going to laugh at me at this, that it pulls out everything. Yes, it pulls out contaminants and plastics and all this junk, but it also pulls out the minerals. So I have invested in this trace mineral supplement that I can drip back into my water after it's been reverse osmosis. So think about that. If you are drinking reverse osmosis water, most of you probably know that already. I didn't know that. So, the more you learn, and I'm hoping that I can help some people that not make the mistake that I made. Okay, number 4, the fourth pillar is minerals, specifically magnesium, zinc, copper, and manganese. Pillar number 5, healthy fats and inflammation control. Healthy fats and inflammation control. Chronic inflammation is going to stiffen fascia and dehydrate fascia. It reduces that slide and glide. It increases pain sensitivity, and it slows adaptation. So healthy fats are going to help regulate inflammation. Things like omega-3s from fatty fish, extra virgin olive oil, nuts and seeds. This doesn't mean zero processed foods, of course. We want to try to get to as minimal processed foods as we can, but it just means that your baseline diet needs to support your recovery. Food quality is going to matter here. Now let's address the big myth. If I take collagen, my fascia will magically heal. No. Here's what actually matters more than supplements. Adequate protein, adequate calories, hydration, sleep, and light movement, the movement that we talked about on Tuesday, as well as stress management, things like breath work. We talked about it on Wednesday about how to really take care of yourself. Supplements are, of course, support players, but they're supplements, right? Lifestyle is the star. So before we end this podcast, I'm going to give you a simple fascia-friendly nutrition framework. Let's put this all together into a fascia fuel formula. Each day, you're going to aim for protein at every meal. You're going to aim for at least one vitamin C rich food, hopefully close to your training. Hydration with minerals, of course. Collagen as a bonus, but not a crutch. And enough calories to recover. Undereating is one of the fastest ways to create stiff, cranky tissue. Now, one more important point. Fascia adapts to stress plus recovery, right? If you train hard, stretch deeply, or load elastically, but don't eat enough, don't sleep enough, you're just creating damage without repair. Fuel is not optional. Fuel is information, and your body is always listening. So stress plus the building blocks that it needs to recover, and then the time that it takes to recover, right? So here's your Fuel Up Friday takeaway. If you want fascia that is resilient, elastic, strong, pain resistant, you don't need a magic supplement. You just need enough protein, micronutrients, hydration, calories, and of course, the big one, consistency. A fascia-friendly day doesn't need to be complicated. It might look like this: a protein-heavy breakfast, collagen and vitamin C sometimes before or even after your movement, whole food lunch with minerals and healthy fats, hydration all throughout the day, especially giving yourself that morning inner bath right off the bat, chugging some water, and then again, protein again at dinner. No perfection, just repeated signals of support. So here's a quick self-check. Am I eating enough protein at most days? Am I hydrating with more than just plain water? Am I under-eating while asking my body to recover? If the answer is not really, that doesn't mean something's wrong. It just means your tissues are under-fueled. Cool. All right. So tomorrow on Self-Care Saturday, we will close out Fascia Week by talking about long holds, stillness, parasympathetic activation, and why slowing down is sometimes the most powerful stimulus of all. All right, Dream Team, feed your tissues. Your body will do the rest. And that's it, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this Fuel Up Friday episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Please share the knowledge that you gain with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. If this episode inspired you, share it with someone who could benefit from what we talked about today. And to support this podcast and help it grow, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. It takes just a second to subscribe. And then while you're there, leave a review or a comment, even if it's just an emoji. Let us know how you're incorporating what you learned in this podcast so that others may benefit. This is really a non-cost way to get this important wellness content into more people's ears. Take a screenshot of this episode and post it on your stories. Tag me at livingthedream_podcast or at coachdamian_SD and let us know how this episode benefited you. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what we got wrong. We want to know. Message us if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Living the Dream team that we can discuss on future episodes. I will be right here with you, working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.